All right, so in this tutorial, we're going to start getting our objects interacting with each other. So in order to do that, interacting with each other implies that we're going to be using physics. So we'll start with our level here. Since they're both going to need it, we're going to select both of them. We're going to, a couple ways we can do this to add the component to it. We can either go add component. And what we're going to be looking for is a collider. And this will give us a list of all the different types of colliders. We want polygon collider so that it follows the shape of our sprite. The other option, or the other way you could do it, is go over here to component. And in physics 2D, because we're dealing in 2D, then we have all these other options: box collider, circle collider, edge. And there it is once again. Polygon collider. So we selected. And then there's two different types of physics. There's collision and then there's trigger. What we want is trigger. And what that means is that when you have acting through raw physics, it's like it shows real world physics. And when it hits the object, it would deflect off. We just wanted to know when it hit the object, we're going to have it do something. So we turn it into a trigger. And then we're going to move over to our egg. This is the object we're launching. And this time we're going to select a circle collider. That's close enough to the shape of what we have. And then and this too will be a trigger. And then for two objects that are triggers to interact in physics, we need a rigid body. Well, for collisions to happen, period. And in this case, once again, 2D, so I just started typing in rigid body. Of course, you could always go up here, component, physics 2D, rigid body 2D. And we're going to make this gravity scale 0 because we don't want it to be affected by gravity. There. And that's what we need for that. And now we're going to tell it what to do when these two objects collide. So we'll create a new script called hit barrier. Edit. There. And then for this, all we're going to need for now is we have different functions for when we enter a trigger. Or well, for a trigger, on trigger enter, on trigger stay, and on trigger exit. So we want on trigger. And as soon as we start typing it in and select it, it fills in all this for us. Do stuff. Let's make a comment here so you know we're going to do something. But what are we going to do? So this says when anything hits this trigger, when any other collider enters the collider on this barrier object, we want to do things. Well, the first thing we want to do is destroy the object itself. And this is a variable that gets passed in, passing in the collider that's attached to this game object. So this collision here means that there's a collider that struck this collider. So we want to call that collision. That variable right there. And since we don't want to destroy the collider, we actually want that object. So we go dot game object. So now it's gone. And for now, we're going to use this command debug to get things to print out in the console underneath the game screen there. Debug.log. It asks for a string, so we use the quotes again. Game over. Oops. And then to get it to stop, let's say debug.break. Oh, and to do that, we need close parentheses like that. And there. Back to our game. And when we launch our egg, it hit the wall, so it says game over, and it paused the game for us. Perfect. Next, we will, in the next video, we'll tackle what happens when it's scoring points and getting outside of the screen.